Have you ever wondered why some people seem to take forever to make a simple decision, like choosing what to order at a restaurant, while others just blurt out their choice without hesitation? Well, if you're one of those slow people, there's a good chance you might be an INFJ, one of the rarest personality types on the planet. And guess what? There's nothing wrong with you at all. Today, we're diving deep into the fascinating world of INFJs and uncovering the real reasons behind their seemingly slow approach to everything. Trust me, by the end of this video, you'll understand that what others call slow is actually a superpower in disguise. 1. The 1% Club. Why INFJs are living differently. Let's get one thing straight. We're talking about the unicorns of the personality world. INFJs make up roughly 1 to 3% of the population, which means you're more likely to meet someone who's left-handed, has green eyes, and can wiggle their ears than you are to encounter an INFJ having a bad day. But here's what's mind-blowing. This rarity isn't accidental. INFJs operate on a completely different frequency than the rest of humanity. While most people are running the default software of human behavior, INFJs are running a custom-built operating system that processes everything at quantum levels. Think about it. In a world where everyone's racing to the finish line, INFJs are asking, but what if we're running in the wrong direction? They're not slow because they can't keep up. They're slow because they're busy rewriting the rules of the game while everyone else is playing it. 2. The mental time machine. How INFJs process reality. Here's where things get fascinating. When you ask an INFJ a simple question like, "How was your day?" you're not just requesting information. You're accessing a mental time machine that's been running complex algorithms since they woke up. Their minds don't just record events. They're constantly running predictive models, emotional impact assessments, and pattern recognition software that would make artificial intelligence jealous. While you experience your day linearly, they've been living in multiple timelines simultaneously, considering what happened, what could have happened, what might happen next, and how all of it connects to the bigger picture. It's like they've got a direct line to the universe's source code, but reading that code takes time. When they finally respond with something profound like, "It was educational," they've just compressed about 17 different philosophical revelations into 2 words. No wonder they seem slow. They're translating cosmic insights into human language. 3. The perfectionist paradox. When good enough never is. Here's something that'll blow your mind. INFJs don't just want things to be perfect. They need them to be aligned with their soul's blueprint. We're not talking about arranging books by color or making sure their socks match. We're talking about a deep, almost spiritual need for everything they do to matter. When an INFJ is slow to respond to your text, they're not ignoring you. They're crafting a response that honors the relationship, considers your emotional state, reflects their authentic feelings, and somehow manages to be helpful without being overwhelming. They're basically writing a love letter disguised as a casual message. This isn't neurosis, it's artistry. Every decision, every word, every action is a brushstroke on the canvas of their life. And just like Michelangelo didn't rush the Sistine Chapel, INFJs won't rush their masterpiece of intentional living. 4. The Oracle effect. When your brain is a crystal ball. INFJs possess what I call the Oracle effect. They see patterns and possibilities that haven't materialized yet. Their dominant function, introverted intuition, is like having a crystal ball that shows you glimpses of potential futures. But here's the catch. Crystal balls don't come with instruction manuals. When an INFJ says they need time to think, they're not stalling. They're waiting for the universe to download the rest of the vision. They're getting puzzle pieces from tomorrow, next month, and sometimes next decade, and they need time to figure out how they all fit together. This is why INFJs often seem prophetic. They're not predicting the future, they're seeing the patterns that create it. But processing those patterns, understanding their implications, and figuring out how to communicate them to a world that lives in the present moment, that takes time, patience, and a whole lot of trust in the process. 5. Emotional archaeology, digging deeper than anyone else. While most people experience emotions like weather, something that happens to them, INFJs experience emotions like archaeologists. They don't just feel sad. They excavate the sadness, study its origins, understand its purpose, and learn from its wisdom. This emotional depth isn't a luxury. It's how they navigate the world. Every feeling is data, every interaction is research, and every experience is a case study in the human condition. They're not slow at processing emotions. They're thorough. There's a difference between skimming the surface and diving to the ocean floor. When something significant happens, INFJs need time to properly honor the experience. They're not just moving through life, they're learning from it, growing through it, and allowing it to transform them. This process can't be rushed any more than you can force a flower to bloom faster by yelling at it. 6. Energy economics, the currency of consciousness. INFJs operate with a completely different energy economy than extroverts. While extroverts gain energy from external stimulation, INFJs have a finite battery that depletes with every social interaction, every decision, and every emotional exchange. But here's what's revolutionary about this. INFJs have learned to treat their energy like a sacred resource. They don't waste it on meaningless conversations, superficial activities, or people who don't appreciate depth. This selectivity might seem slow or antisocial, but it's actually strategic brilliance. Think of it this way. Would you rather have someone give you their divided attention for hours, or their complete, undivided presence for one meaningful hour? INFJs choose quality over quantity every single time, and this choice requires careful consideration of how they invest their precious energy. 7. Choice paralysis. When you see all the roads not taken. Here's a secret about INFJs that most people don't understand. They don't just see the choice they're making. They see all the choices they're not making, and they feel responsible for all of them. When facing a decision, they're not just considering what happens if they say yes. They're mourning the beautiful possibilities that come with saying no. This isn't indecisiveness, it's grief management. Every choice carries the weight of infinite possibilities, and INFJs feel that weight in their bones. They see the butterfly effect of their decisions playing out across time, affecting not just themselves, but everyone connected to them. So when they seem slow to decide, they're not being difficult. They're honoring the magnitude of choice itself. They understand that decisions aren't just actions. They're the building blocks of reality, and reality deserves careful consideration. 8. The meaning makers. Why surface level isn't enough. INFJs are meaning makers in a world full of meaning takers. While others consume experiences, INFJs create significance. They can't just eat a meal. They need to understand the story behind the ingredients. They can't just watch a movie. They need to decode its deeper messages about the human condition. This constant search for meaning isn't exhausting for them. It's energizing. But it does require time. You can't rush enlightenment, and you can't speed up the process of discovering how today's seemingly random events connect to your life's greater purpose. When an INFJ takes time to respond or make a decision, they're often waiting for the meaning to reveal itself. They trust that everything happens for a reason, but sometimes that reason takes a while to become clear. They'd rather wait for clarity than act in confusion. 9. The stimulation sanctuary, protecting the sacred space. In our hyper-connected, constantly buzzing world, INFJs are like walking meditation centers. They need peace to function properly. But it's not just about quiet. It's about the quality of stimulation they're receiving. An INFJ can become overwhelmed not just by noise, but by the emotional undercurrents in a room, the unspoken tensions between people, the tragic news story playing on a distant TV, and the existential weight of a casual conversation about climate change. They're picking up signals that others don't even know are broadcasting. This sensitivity requires them to move slowly through the world, carefully managing their exposure to stimulation. What looks like slowness is actually sophisticated self-care. They're protecting their ability to remain open and empathetic in a world that can easily overwhelm sensitive souls. 10. The wisdom weavers. Why slow thinking creates fast solutions. Here's where we flip everything on its head. What if INFJ's slowness isn't actually slow at all? What if it's the fastest route to the deepest solutions. While others are applying band-aids, INFJs are performing surgery. While others are treating symptoms, INFJs are addressing root causes. Their slow approach often leads to solutions that are so elegant, so comprehensive, and so lasting that they save enormous amounts of time and energy in the long run. Think about the tortoise and the hare, but imagine the tortoise isn't just steady. They're also wise, compassionate, and carrying a GPS that shows not just the fastest route, but the most beautiful one. That's the INFJ advantage in a nutshell. 11. The reflection revolution. Building tomorrow's wisdom today. INFJs are professional life processors. While others are rushing to the next experience, INFJs are extracting maximum value from their current one. They're like master chefs who don't just cook meals. They understand how each ingredient interacts, how flavors develop over time, and how the entire experience nourishes the soul. This reflective process is where INFJs build their legendary wisdom. They're not just accumulating experiences. They're distilling them into insights, principles, and understanding that they can apply to future situations. Their slowness in the moment becomes speed in the long term. They rarely make the same mistake twice because they've thoroughly understood it the first time. Every pause, every moment of contemplation, every "let me think about it" is an investment in their future effectiveness. They're not slow learners. They're thorough learners. And there's a massive difference. 12. The myth-busting moment. What everyone gets wrong. Let's destroy some myths right now. INFJ's slowness has nothing to do with lack of intelligence. They're often gifted thinkers. Laziness. They work incredibly hard, just differently. Social anxiety. Though they may be selective about social situations. Indecisiveness. They're actually very decisive once they have all the information. The real truth? INFJs are operating from a completely different paradigm. They're playing chess while everyone else is playing checkers. They're composing symphonies while others are humming jingles. They're building cathedrals while others are setting up tents. Their slowness isn't a bug. It's the feature that allows them to create lasting value in a disposable world. 13. The INFJ Optimization Manual. Working with your design, not against it. For my INFJ friends out there, here's your permission slip. Stop trying to be someone else's version of fast. Instead, become the most effective version of your authentic self. Start by honoring your natural rhythms. Build buffer time into your schedule. Create systems that support your need for processing time. Set boundaries that protect your energy. Choose environments that complement your sensitivity rather than overwhelm it. Most importantly, stop apologizing for being thorough. The world needs your depth, your insights, and your carefully considered contributions. Your slowness isn't holding you back. It's preparing you to make an impact that lasts. 14. The INFJ Gift to Humanity. Why the world needs your beautiful slowness. Here's the revolutionary truth. In a world spinning out of control with speed addiction, INFJs are the emergency brake that prevents us from crashing. They're the pause button that allows for course correction. They're the deep breath that brings sanity back to chaos. Every time an INFJ takes their time to really understand someone, they're modeling what true empathy looks like. Every time they craft a thoughtful response instead of a quick reaction, they're showing us what authentic communication can be. Every time they choose depth over speed, they're demonstrating that some things are worth the wait. Your slowness isn't a personal limitation. It's a gift to a world that's forgotten how to be present, how to think deeply, and how to create things that matter. You're not behind, you're ahead. You're not slow, you're revolutionary. 15. The time paradox. Why INFJs actually save time for everyone. Here's the mind bender. INFJs might seem slow, but they actually save everyone time in the long run. How? By getting things right the first time, by asking the right questions up front, by considering consequences that prevent future problems, and by creating solutions that don't need constant fixing. When an INFJ takes extra time to understand a problem, they often solve not just the immediate issue, but the underlying pattern that causes similar problems. When they take time to really understand someone, they build relationships that don't require constant maintenance and drama. They're not slow. They're efficient on a timeline that most people can't see. They're playing the long game while everyone else is focused on the next 5 minutes. Conclusion: the beautiful revolution of conscious living. So here we are at the end of our journey into the extraordinary world of INFJ slowness. But what we discovered isn't really about slowness at all. It's about consciousness, intentionality, and the radical act of living deliberately in an unconscious world. INFJs aren't slow because they can't keep up. They're slow because they refuse to participate in the mindless race to nowhere that has captured most of humanity. They're slow because they understand that some things like wisdom, love, understanding, and authentic connection can't be rushed without being destroyed. In a world of instant everything, INFJs are living proof that the best things in life require patience, attention, and care. They're showing us that depth beats speed every time, that quality trumps quantity always, and that taking time to do things right is the fastest way to a life worth living. If you're an INFJ, embrace your beautiful slowness. It's not a flaw to fix. It's a superpower to celebrate. You're not broken, you're breakthrough. You're not behind, you're beyond. You're not slow, you're sacred. And if you love an INFJ, thank them for their gift of deliberate living. Their slowness is their service to a world that desperately needs what they offer: depth in a shallow age, wisdom in a foolish time, and presence in a distracted world. The next time someone asks why INFJs are so slow at everything, you can smile and tell them they're not slow, they're saving the world one thoughtful moment at a time. And honestly, the world has never needed saving more than it does right now.